Imagine a world where reality is not as it appears, where empowerment morphs into self-sabotage and authenticity becomes an enigma. This is how I'd describe the dynamic evolution of RHONY. In its journey, the iconic reality TV franchise has shifted between empowerment and disillusionment. It revealed a narrative that reflects our changing perceptions of reality and the profound effect of media on our lives. Today, we embark on an exploration of RHONY's captivating trajectory as we untangle the intricate web of power dynamics, hyperreality, and the elusive boundaries between the real and the simulated. Join me as we delve into the core of the show that commenced by challenging norms only to find itself entangled in a web of its own creation. There's much I admire about RHONY, a topic I'll repeatedly get into in this video. Nevertheless, its conclusion felt both gradual and abrupt. The show, I believe, contributed to its own downfall. Real Housewife franchises typically depend on showing conflict and having the perpetrator conform to some social norm in the group. So, bone collection. Toward the end, it seemed as if anything goes, even as onlookers pleaded reality to them. No one would be held accountable. I'm looking at you, Ramona and Sonia. Without introspection from the larger group, the show might as well just not exist. Each woman transformed into an individual caricature of her TV persona that fans adored, but without the growth and self-improvement typically seen after a season of being loved or hated. The women filmed with cameras and also could never convincingly act as if they didn't know they were there. However, with this in mind, they still failed at connecting with the audience beyond the cameras, maintaining their humanity while navigating the housewives arc. So, confrontation, conflict, resolution, hopefully. It became more and more apparent and more challenging as they became deeply absorbed into the show that these women's personalities just overshadowed the group dynamic in many respects. Behaviours like Sonia's, Ramona's, and Luann's began to dominate the storyline, growing tiresome and stagnant due to some cast members' inability to grow and learn. At the inception of RHONY, a spark ignited. I believe it introduced us to a cast of women determined to make it on their own. I felt as though they became symbols of empowerment and inspired courage for those constrained by traditional roles. So it felt very different to Real Housewives of Orange County, in my opinion. However, this relatability dwindled as the housewives embraced their roles on TV, conscious of the cameras, but not much else. The genuine human element, once at the core of the show, began to fade, unraveling the show's original essence. As that evolution unfolded, the line between catering to the audience and playing to the cameras blurred. The allure of an aspirational lifestyle turned into a diluted blend tainted by addiction, racism, and narcissism. This transformation was highlighted by moments like the accusation of Dorinda being on drugs at the Season 8 reunion. This, I feel, marked a shift from authentic camaraderie to a more staged interaction. In its early days, RHONY depicted women liberated from traditional roles. It felt like it mirrored the glamour in Sex and the City, only this time it was real, supposedly. It dared to explore the concept that women could truly have it all: careers, success, and a vibrant social life without relying on a husband and sometimes without having a family at all. It reflected what we thought about when envisioning career women flourishing in New York amidst third-wave feminism. Sex and the City and RHONY, I feel, primarily embodied the ideals and values of this movement. It focused on women's sexual empowerment, individualism, and complex portrayals of their personal and professional lives. Cast members like Sonia, Carol, and Luann really embodied this spirit, showcasing lives of adventure and independence that resonated with viewers. These women, well, it was hard to overlook their privileged circumstances, but they did provide some aspirational viewing on the back of a financial crisis. The show depicted women carving out their own identities post-divorce, a time in people's lives we rarely get the privilege of hearing about. It is, of course, hard to overlook the fact that these women had significant advantages based on who they married, who they were, and who they were related to. Despite this, I still took comfort in watching these women forge their own names. So, Luann's venture into cabaret and Bethany's meteoric success allowed us to witness women seemingly doing it all. Beyond their successful careers, the cast displayed genuine friendships. These relationships attested to their strength. Their interactions offered a refreshing departure from the materialism often seen in other franchises. Cue Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. RHONY presented an empowering portrayal of female relationships that felt authentic and sincere, forming a robust foundation for the show's success. Yet, as the seasons advanced, a shift in tone became apparent. It felt like a race to the bottom post-season 10. RHONY, once a platform for strong friendships and audacious ventures, began delving into deeper and more somber territory. The delicate balance between addressing heavy subjects and offsetting them with heartwarming moments faltered. Personal struggles like Bethany's custody battle and Luann's health issues were juxtaposed typically with camaraderie aiming to maintain an equilibrium. However, later on, other issues such as Ramona's racism were uncomfortably overlooked. It cast a shadow over the once prominent supportive atmosphere. Substance abuse narratives began to take centre stage. It led the show astray from its original purpose. Characters we once admired for resilience began grappling with personal demons. The once beloved Sonia's descent into self-destructive behaviour and Luann's battle with addiction shattered their images of strength, leaving viewers to witness their downfall. I will add a caveat to this, as sometimes it can be really empowering watching people go through these arcs and make it through the other end. But they were addressed, or rather unaddressed, in such a way that felt that it was very hard to win the audience back. On the other hand, cast members like Bethany and Dorinda were fan favourites for grounding the show's other members to the audience. They acted as a sort of tether to what we as viewers were thinking, serving as a Greek chorus. They maintained the show's connection to reality. However, with Bethany's departure, due to a conflict I'm eager to explore in another video, and Dorinda's reality being influenced by substances, the audience felt somewhat abandoned. Although we've long understood that reality TV doesn't accurately mirror reality at all, we still perceive the cast members as genuine individuals. Our attachments to them are based on the foundation that they exist in the same reality as us. However, in these simulations, the line between reality and reality TV can blur, aligning with Baudrillard's concept of counterfeit reality. In this state, distinguishing between what's real and what's a representation of reality becomes increasingly challenging. This goes beyond mere imitation and involves a loss of the original reference point. I believe the women we cheered for became lost in the realm of hyperreality, where their portrayals veered into a realm that no longer reflected the lives we knew. The bond between housewives and the audience broke, much like a snowball rolling down a hill, accumulating more snow and losing its original form. The initial humour and relatability gave way to a modified representation, losing the charm that initially resonated. On that note, I must unfortunately address season 13. I rewatched parts of it for this video to examine if my argument still holds. Watching the season feels like witnessing a star implode into dust. I perceived an air from the OGs, so Sonia, Luann and Ramona, that they didn't particularly want to engage with the newbies or truly integrate them. While Luann attempted, an air of entitlement persisted among those who had contributed so much to the show. We can see this earlier with Sonia's kiss the ring moment when Tinsley moved in and her subsequent neglect at Sonia's house party by certain women. And what's interesting is from the outset of Leah's introduction, there seemed to be a distinct focus on her rather than her and the group. She had a strong storyline with her family and her religion. This underscored the divide between the OGs and the new cast members who really struggled to mesh. This season also felt like a culmination of Sonia's detachment from reality, with her blatant lies even when confronted. And Ramona's offensive comments as well. These actions were just not sufficiently corrected by the show or by the group. I think it's important to note that Bravo's responsibility and Andy Cohen's is undeniable, especially in the context of reunions or even when cast members appear and watch What Happens Live. They have a responsibility to ensure that the relationship between cast and viewers is nurtured. Without this, the show inevitably becomes removed from reality. No one answered for their behaviour, and these women seemingly escaped without repercussions. I think it's extremely symbolic there was no reunion that year. Perhaps they were too far gone in their own counter-reality. Initially, the group of women excelled at holding each other accountable, preventing the show from straying too far from reality. For instance, Carol Radziwill, most of the time, offered a stabilising influence on top of Bethany and Dorinda's quips. In reunions, we observed how the women self-policed, conforming to expectations driven by constant camera surveillance, public perception, and each other. Unfortunately, this trait seemed to wane as the show progressed. Their self-awareness dwindled, exposing them to damaging stereotypes that influenced viewer perceptions. In conclusion, RHONY's journey reflects media's power to shape and deconstruct reality. It started as a tribute to empowered women defying norms only to transform into a story of self-sabotage. The women who once empowered us with their boldness lost their authenticity in the realm of a hyper-reality. The camera, once a source of unity, ultimately revealed vulnerabilities that shattered the illusion. In the media domain, as Baudrillard suggests, reality possesses multiple layers. RHONY's transformation echoes this evolution, prompting us to ponder the genuine nature of our perceptions. The new era holds promise, aiming to fill the gaps left by RHONY. We once again encounter these remarkable women with fulfilling careers and true friendships. However, the aura of self-awareness starkly contrasts to the original Legacy series. Many of these women appear as though they've been on TV before, tested before a focus group, and adapted based on the feedback. Despite their instant likability, and authenticity still lingers, suggesting for more for the audience to uncover. I'm thrilled about the new series and delighted with the casting. I hope the women can embrace each other and showcase the camaraderie seen with the original RHONY women. I do wonder about the spontaneous wit and off-the-cuff humour that cast members like Bethany and Sonia effortlessly delivered. Yet, this show, portraying empowered women navigating life's highs and lows, has the potential to develop its own unique flavour, rendering comparisons irrelevant. Thanks so much for watching my video, guys. It's my first attempt at one of these, so let me know what you think, and see you later.